Armada Kickoff is brought to you by Community First Credit Union, Winn-Dixie, Baptist Health, Bowden Eye and Associates, Brumos Automotive, and Coastal Spine and Pain Center.
Hello and welcome into Armada Kickoff. The Armada, in the midst of their busiest week on the field ever, will have highlights from last night's U.S. Open Cup match in Richmond. We'll also have highlights from last Saturday's match in Minnesota. As the weekend approaches, the Armada, one of only 4 teams in the league still alive in the chase for the spring championship.
We're also going to take a look at Saturday's opponent, the Carolina RailHawks. Plus, we're going to see how Armada players and their fans are showing their love on social media as we enter the Twitterverse.
But let's start with last night's debut in the U.S. Open Cup. Of all the USL teams to face in the first round, the Armada drew perhaps the toughest first-round opponent. The Richmond Kickers have won the Cup back in 1995. They made the quarterfinals 5 times, and in 2011 became the first lower division team to defeat back-to-back MLS teams on the road. This time, the Armada were the team on the road. To Richmond City Stadium we go. First round U.S. Open Cup, Sean Nicola, Nico Zaldana, Tommy Krzyzanovic all getting the start for the Armada. 20th minute, off the corner. Ryan Ownby got a head on it, able to redirect it in, give Richmond a 1-0 lead. 25th minute now. Here's a symptomatic situation. A giveaway by the Armada. Ownby with an opportunity here, and he was really the driving force for Richmond throughout the course of the contest. Again, another giveaway in the final third for the Armada. Ownby again on that left side, chips it in, and this one goes over the top, but certainly another scoring opportunity for Richmond. 38th minute now. Another giveaway, and the run out. And this one will lead to a 1v1 situation, and Miguel Gallardo just helpless to do anything. Did get a foot on it, couldn't quite keep it in, but 2-0 as halftime neared. Almost 3-0 before halftime. Another opportunity here as Davis able to get it close, cleared out of there by the Armada. Now second half, and it's more of the same. Ownby running down the left side, getting some space. Armada able to close him down for a moment, but he gets it back on his right foot, finally cleared out by the Armada. Still 2-0. Armada trying to get a little something moving forward. Akil Barrett from about 20 yards away puts it wide, but at least that was a chance and made Ryan Taylor, the goalkeeper, have to do a little bit of work. This was sort of the story. This is a penalty called against the Armada on the corner. Gallardo didn't like it, gets the yellow card. Same situation with the ball just off the spot, but it doesn't matter. In the end, the Armada go down 3-0. Now in the 69th minute, another opportunity for Ownby. Well, he was just the engine that drove Richmond. Steps over one Armada defender, races down here. Trejo coming in support, and Gallardo down to make the save. 71st minute now. This was sort of in microcosm what we saw just about all game long. A breakout, Gallardo out to make a play, then players sliding to try to tackle the ball away. Trejo just trips over the ball. Armada do clear it out. Now 83rd minute. Finally, an attack of some regard for the Armada. Here's Pascal Million. Gets it to the middle. Barrett hits the post. Boehner hits it off the goalkeeper. Castrion hits the post, but that's all the Armada could muster in a 3-0 loss.
Definitely not the performance we were looking to have. Definitely not a performance that we're capable of, of having. These games are always tough. U.S. Open Cup games, it really comes to, who's hungrier really at the beginning of the game, and everybody's looking for a chance to advance. One and done format is tough, and it's tough to come in here. Richmond's a good team, and they were able to, disrupt our game and put some goals in us early to make us chase the game. So, they made it tough on us.
We didn't create many chances to begin with, and then, early on we receive a goal, and now we're back checking. And then right after the goal, we're trying and we're pushing for the next 5 minutes or so, I believe, and just didn't create enough opportunities in the first half to go up or tie. And I think that hurt us early on.
We know what these games are do or die, and it's been a couple, we've had some injuries. We came over here after a tough game on last Saturday against a top team, and we knew it was going to be difficult. And, unfortunately we weren't prepared, and we got punished, and we have to learn from our mistakes and keep going.
Take a look at the numbers, and this really tells the tale. I mean, you could have watched the match and expected this to be about what the numbers would be. Outscored 3-0. No shots in the first half by the Armada. Only 2 actually on goal the entire match. They came late in the contest. And the Armada out-fouling the Kickers It was just not a good day all around for the Armada as they open play in the U.S. Open Cup.
All 9 U.S.-based NASL teams, including the Armada, played in Round 3 of the U.S. Open Cup this past week. Several clubs were able to host, like the Carolina RailHawks, Indy 11, and the New York Cosmos. As we see here, it was a tough night for the NASL. Only 2 teams advanced to the 4th round, the Cosmos and the Silverbacks. Both these teams will face MLS sides. Atlanta will take on the New York Red Bulls on June 16th, and the New York Cosmos host NYCFC on June 17th.
The Armada began this stretch of 3 matches in 8 days on the road this past Saturday against one of the top teams in the NASL, Minnesota United. To Blaine, Minnesota we go.
Some members of Section 904 traveling up to Minnesota for this one. Head coach Guillermo Hoyos dealing with some lineup changes. No Keita, no Fabricio Ortiz, and he gives David Sierra his first start of the season in goal. Early on, Sierra looking very comfortable in that role, getting the job done in the first half. Didn't allow a goal in the first half. Armada did have a chance here. Pascal Million gets it to his left foot, sends a low ball on the way. It is just off target. We're scoreless at halftime. Second half key moment here. Lucas Rodriguez probably didn't have to make contact here, but he did, and it led to a penalty kick. Pablo Campos delivers to give Minnesota the lead in the 53rd minute. Then just 6 minutes later off a corner kick, Chiavo Calvano off the deflection, puts it in. Minnesota goes up 2-0. Now watch it again. It looked like it could have been offside, but because Matt Boehner kicked it, rather than it glancing off a player, Calvano was ruled onside, and the goal stands. So the Armada have their work cut out. Down 2-0, 71st minute, Akil Barrett comes on. Watch his speed making an immediate difference. Look how disruptive he is. Gets it to Jamal Johnson, then it comes to Pascal Million, who gets it past Sammy Unjuk. Take another look. It's Million's second goal of the season. The Armada down 2-1 at this point. Another controversial play. Watch Pablo Campos stiff arm Lucas Trejo. Trejo goes down injured. Miguel Ibarra shows why Jurgen Klinsmann has called him up to the U.S. men's national team. He gets it past Sierra to make it 3-1, and the celebration was on in Minnesota. But the Armada weren't quite done yet. 83rd minute, watch this rocket from Jamal Johnson. Just blows Unjuk away, but it wasn't enough. Armada lose 3-2 as Minnesota climbs to second in the standings.
A look ahead for the Armada's schedule. There's 3 matches remaining in the spring season. They are home tomorrow night against the Carolina RailHawks with kickoff at 7:30. Next weekend, they also play at Community First Park for a Sunday match beginning at 4 p.m. against Ottawa Fury. And the season comes to an end on June 13th with a match in New York against the Cosmos.
The final match of this stretch of 3 matches in 8 days comes Saturday at Community First Park, as Krissty mentioned, against the Carolina RailHawks. Carolina comes into the match level on points with the Armada. Both have 10 so far in the NASL season. But the RailHawks have played 8 matches, so they're not mathematically alive for the spring championship. Carolina led by Nacho Novo and Ty Shipolani. Both have scored 3 goals. Shipolani also has 3 assists this year. It's also Youth Soccer Night at Community First Park. Mike Goodman, the commissioner of the North Florida Youth Soccer League, told me this week that he likes what the Armada have done for the community and for youth soccer.
Well, I think it's fantastic because you actually have something that all of the kids can relate to. It's kind of like when the Jaguars come in, well, hey, we have a football team. Now we have a real football team in the Armada, and it's great to walk around town or go to some of these tournaments, and the little kids are wearing the scarves and the Armada shirts and all the gear, and I think that's a good rally point for everybody in town.
Here's a great way to get your Armada fix. The Kraken Pack, 8 matches, $88. You get matches against the New York Cosmos and the Fort Lauderdale Strikers, plus 6 other NASL fixtures. Call 844-2-ARMADA or go online to purchase at armadafc.com. Straight ahead, we'll have highlights from around the NASL and a closer look at the standings, and we'll see why the Armada are one of the fortunate few in the North American Soccer League.
And Bob Veal joins us for Bob's Boot Room. Stick around, more Armada Kickoff is straight ahead.
Still time to get your season tickets. You can have these prorated for the remaining matches in the season, and this is the best way to get the best price. Tickets start at just $10 per match. You can pay on an interest-free monthly payment plan, and if you're a season ticket owner, you get invited to special events that only season ticket owners have access to. Call 844-2-ARMADA or online at armadafc.com. We are getting down to crunch time in the spring season, and the contenders are separating from the pretenders. Let's go around the NASL.
Let's start in New York, where Cosmos head coach Giovanni Savarese and his team have not lost all season long in any competition, taking on the San Antonio Scorpions, already leading 2-0. Leo Fernandez would get it off the header from Lucky Kosana. 3-0. The Cosmos remain unbeaten with the victory over the Scorpions at home. Ottawa Fury, Indy 11. Largest crowd of the season in Ottawa to watch a dramatic match that ended on this. 88th minute goal by Nicky Patterson gives the Fury their first win since April 25th. Indy not only lost the game, also lost midfielder Sergio Pena to an injury in the second half. Carolina RailHawks, Fort Lauderdale Strikers. T. Shipolani getting it done again. Second straight week he scored, third goal of the season. It's a 1-0 lead late in the contest. On the free kick, and Jose Angulo will put it on goal, but it's saved, and Carolina, with the 6-game winless streak snapped, a 1-0 victory over the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. Now to Canada, Edmonton and Atlanta. Big day for Lance Lang, who opens the scoring here in the 41st minute. 3 second-half goals sealed the victory for the Eddies, 4-2 the final. They were celebrating in Canada. Richie Jones, Daryl Fordyce, and here Kareem Moses, all scoring for the Eddies, who picked up their second win of the season and move out of last place in the spring season standings.
So here's the league table as we enter the weekend. New York still without a loss in any competition. They have the lead. They're certainly in the driver's seat right now. But those 4 teams that are noted there with the asterisks all still have a chance to make it as NASL spring season champions. The Armada needs some help to do so. They would need to win out, have Minnesota beat the Cosmos this week, and have Minnesota lose one of their 2 remaining games after that. And certainly the benefit for the Armada right now, as it is for Minnesota, a game in hand on the league-leading Cosmos, who will have their bye the week before the Armada travel to New York. Bottom half of the standings, well, Indy 11 has slipped back down to the bottom with 6 points. You see, though, Ottawa, as you saw before with Edmonton, the Canadian team starting to make some strides here after Week 8 in the North American Soccer League. Now let's head to Bob's Boot Room, presented by Nike. Here are Bob Veal and Krissty Andaur.
Thank you, Cole. Bob, last week against Minnesota, the Armada showed some great possession in the midfield, great passes, but it's finishing in that front third of the field that seems to be a problem. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, let's look at the first clip where they string a whole lot of passes together. This is for almost half a minute. Here you got Trejo pushing it out to the left and then forward and then back again into defense. And what they're trying to do is to draw the defense out. Draw them out and make room for the forwards to run into space. And they go back again to Trejo here, and then forward, and then back again. Then that final pass, stop there, is straight to a defender, and you know that meant nothing to us. So we're on the attack. Let's look at the second one. And this is again is a string of passes, followed by a great ball from Flores, and Nicola. Final cross is high. You'll see it here. He makes the first pass. He gets the ball back and a little side foot inside to Nicola. And what does he do with it? Bang it over the bar. Final pass again. Let's look at another clip that we picked out here.
You can tell there's so much fluidity in their passes.
They're really good about knocking the ball about in midfield, but that's not getting us anywhere. Here,
Jamal
Johnson makes his first pass over the top of everybody. And he did well to win that ball. And so, let's look at another one. Jamal again. Here he goes. First cross, straight to a defender. Luckily, he picks the ball up again, tackles, takes it wide. Second pass, straight to a defender again. Easily to control, easily to defend. Just get in front of the ball and knock it away. We should be doing better. And here's a free kick. And a lot of passes here. Jamal again. He's going to drop that ball back to Bocci, and Bocci to Flores. Flores involved in a lot of things there. And back to Scaglia, and Flores
Looks
involved
like they're switching
again.
over the field.
Yeah, now they're switching field, and we're going out to Pascal Millin. And Pascal does a little jig when he's player, and look at that ball. Stop there. That ball was straight into the head of a defender. We got to do better with that last pass. Now let's look at this, and I want the viewers to judge for themselves whether this was a foul. Here he kicks it forward. Stop there. So I'd like the viewers to look at that,
Right.
and that is on Trejo there, and he knocks him over, pushes the ball through.
Who ended
and
up leaving the game.
Barrett took that well, really took that well and scored. So, really, was that a foul? I think it was. He played the player, and then he played the ball through to Ibarra.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Bob. The Armada are back in Jacksonville with a match against the Carolina RailHawks tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Cole?
Thanks, guys. Straight ahead, David Hayes and Andy Kidd join the roundtable. We'll talk about the Armada's performance in the U.S. Open Cup. Stick around. More Armada Kickoff straight ahead.
The Armada Social Rewards program is a great way to stay connected with the team via social media. It's free to sign up. Just go online at armadasocialrewards.com, create an account, and start earning free gifts like jerseys, scarves, and even tickets to future matches. Each week, we pick a random winner, and congratulations to Joe Perry. You've won 2 tickets to the Armada match against the Ottawa Fury. And now let's head over to the roundtable presented by Subway. Cole?
Players that you can switch around, and we're going to be very strong.
We saw a lot of different players, a lot of different lineups.
All right, thank you, Krissty. All right, let's talk about it, guys. David Hayes, Andy Kidd, here on the Analyst Roundtable presented by Subway. Andy, I get to start with you. What about Wednesday night's performance in the U.S. Open Cup?
Yeah, it left a little to be desired. We talked out here last week about how the coaches were going to handle it. We were all curious, are we going to, play our starters like we would if it was an NASL game, or are we going to play our reserves and see if we can go ahead and take care of a lower division team with some of our reserves? And, obviously we got our answer last night. We started with a lot of the reserves out there and some guys not even active that had been in the starting lineup, and, we kind of paid consequences for that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's a lack of coaching and preparation for me. You have Boehner, which has been the backbone for us. You have Keita out, which is, there's a reason behind that. You have Flores. You have your main guys that have been the backbone of our team out. And you're going to a team in Richmond Kickers that have been there. Lee Calshaw's been there, what, decades?
16 years. 16 years.
You don't go to a team like that and play people that haven't been playing or the backbone. So I think for me, it was a lack of preparation and coaching.
So how much does this one hurt for the Armada for the season, for going forward, losing their opportunity to play against an MLS team in Cup competition?
Yeah, I mean, we're the second-tier division, and we want to play the first one. We want to get, fans recognizing Jacksonville Armada as a, good teams supposed to take care of bad teams, and we should have beaten them easily last night. And I think we would have. But I think it's very devastating to us just because it's our inaugural season and what U.S. Open Cup means to the U.S. as a whole in soccer.
You played in some U.S. Open Cups. How did you approach them?
At the beginning, the MLS teams, when I was back in the day in '99, we used to play people like me because, I played with 11 starters were on the national team when I started with DC. So I wasn't breaking that lineup. So I got U.S. Open Cup games. But you can't do that with teams that players are playing all the time, and you can't throw in a guy that hasn't been playing and expect them to be game fit, match ready, mentally prepared, and they should have understood that you can't take any team lightly. In soccer, you can't do it anyway.
They need to win out and get some help to win the spring championship. David, can they do it?
I don't think so. I don't think so, to be honest with you. New York is just flying, and Minnesota's flying. They got some great players on that team, and they're just elevating right now. And so I don't think it's possible. I think we just need to stay consistent, fix what we need to fix, and then, just stay the way stay the course, I would say. I wouldn't panic. And I think in the fall season, we're going to be fine.
Yeah, and I would be focusing now on getting as many points as you can now to look for one of those last 4 playoff spots. So you get as many points now to help you get into the fall, and you're going to, and that should be your goal now. You'd have to have a lot of things fall into place for you to win the spring championship. So, I'm with David on this. It's probably not going to, be this spring that we're going to get our first, championship, but or our berth into the playoffs. And but I would say that the fall is a realistic goal.
Andy Kidd, David Hayes, thanks so much. Straight ahead, what the players are tweeting after Wednesday night's U.S. Open Cup match. Stick around. More Armada Kickoff is straight ahead.
Single match tickets are on sale, and there's only 2 home matches left this season. Tomorrow night against Carolina RailHawks and on June 7th against Ottawa Fury. Remember, that match against Ottawa is on a Sunday with a kickoff time of 4 p.m. The Armada players are very active on social media, and it's really a great way to connect with them. Christian, a member of Section 904, tweets how passionate he is about his team. Actually, several Section 904 members made the trip to Minnesota last weekend, courtesy of Armada owner Mark Frisch. Goalkeeper Miguel Gallardo tweeted his thoughts and prayers to all those in his hometown of Austin, Texas, after this week's severe flooding. Defender Fabricio Ortiz Instagrammed a photo 30,000 feet up in the air as they made their way to Richmond, Virginia this past week.
Our coverage of the Armada versus the Carolina RailHawks begins Saturday at 7, kickoff 7:30. Remember, you can get the latest on the Armada online at armadafc.com and on radio, the Armada Soccer Show, 3 o'clock on Fridays on Sports Radio 930. You can also hear Bob Veal and me talk on the Armada Monday podcast every Monday on armadafc.com. This will be a big game for the Armada, not only to stay in the race in the spring season in the North American Soccer League, Krissty, but also they've lost their last 2 now away from home. Good to be back home.
It's good to be back home at Community First Park. I know they need their fan base, and I know they love playing, obviously, at their home pitch. So this is going to be a really big game for the Armada to win. Expecting a big crowd. We hear that there are some tickets available, but not many. Order online. Don't deal with any sort of big lines and maybe get blocked out walking up on match day at Community First Park. All right, that'll do it for us here on Armada Kickoff. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Cole Pepper. I'm Krissty Andaur. We'll see you tomorrow.